103-meter tall symbol of corruption reduced to rubble. It's the biggest message to the corrupt. Big post-demolition exercise underway. Fire tenders, smoke guns deployed. Debris now being cleared. Air quality remains under control after massive demolition exercise remains in the moderate level. As towers of deceit implode and bite the dust, residents rejoice. Celebrations break out across Noida. Hello and welcome. You're watching the special episode of This Is Exclusive right from the very spot where the demolition took place. Many would say that finally the much awaited execution of Supreme Court orders that took place this afternoon around 2:30. The twin towers were brought down, and what remains is right now what you see behind me, the rubble of the twin towers. 100-meter tall towers brought down. The tower of deceit, the tower of corruption has finally been brought down as a much relief to the home buyers. In fact, before I get you a recap of all that happened today, a quick check of what we know so far, what's the situation on the ground as we are reporting live from the very place where the twin towers stood just about a few hours ago, and this is what remains right now of the twin towers after a controlled implosion that took place. 3,700 kilograms of explosives that were parked inside the building, and thereafter the controlled implosion took place. A very smooth operation conducted in just about 9 seconds. 9 years wait finally ending in this 9 seconds of controlled implosion that took place. As of now, the reports essentially suggesting that everything went normal, but remember the safety checks are still being conducted in this particular area. Adjacent buildings, that's the bigger concern right now, whether at all there were any structural damages or not. That's something that we're just waiting to get an official confirmation to come in from the Noida authorities. In a short while from now, perhaps more information to trickle in with regards to what sort of an impact it has had on buildings that were adjacent to it. That's going to be the crucial question at this point in time. All other preparations are basically underway. I'll just give you a 360-degree view also. If Ravanji can just show right now, these mechanized sweeping machines have also been brought in right now to clean this area. What you could also take a look at is fire tenders and all which were parked in this area. They are now moving out, but these mechanized sweeping machines that have been brought in to try and clean up this entire area, it's going to be important because remember the amount of dust or the debris that has been collected. We are basically right now standing on almost 80,000 tons of debris that has been generated after this controlled implosion, and it's going to take some time before this rubble is actually removed. Remember, it's going to take at least about 3 months for the authorities to really take this out. All these rubbles that you see, at least 50,000 of the debris is going to remain in this area because that's the basement that would have been covered. So this entire area would be covered with about I'm told roughly about 50,000 tons of debris that's going to remain. Rest of it is going to be sent to other places. Look at the kind of preparations that were undertaken by the authorities before the implosion took place. This kind of a trench that was dug up to ensure that it gives some sort of a buffer. And then if you can also take a look at it, these tires were basically kept here to at least keep that impact, to bring down the impact of it. These were some of the preparations that were done, but look at the way it was essentially done, the clinical precision, because as we are standing at this location where the debris is lying, but just barely few meters away from where we are standing is another building. So we are talking about the distance between the twin tower and the adjacent building was only about 9 meters. 9 meters is exactly the distance between both. And remember, the fear was that will it actually have a deeper, larger impact? Will there lead to some sort of a structural damage to the other buildings? We do not know at this point in time. when the building was coming down, we saw some debris basically flying and falling on the adjacent building. But whether that's led to some sort of a damage, that's not known. And we're not going to speculate unless the authorities really come and give us a word on what's really the impact of at least on the other buildings. From the face of it, at least it looks like everything is intact. But then this is something that just by looking at it, one would not understand the structural damages that the buildings may have had. There could be some cracks that could have taken place and all of that. Take a look at it. We're trying to give you a closer look of what remains right now. And the idea behind actually showing you the rubble is not just what many would be describing the media spectacle. It's not that. The idea behind showing you right now all of this is also to send across a message to those corrupt builders, the builder mafia, and also those corrupt bureaucrats who've essentially thought that perhaps modifying all of this, bringing up these towers, illegally doing all of this, they would have gotten away with. But it doesn't look like that one can do that in Naya Bharat. The fact of the matter is that it is today a day where we need to celebrate our judiciary. It is the Supreme Court and Allahabad High Court. It ensured that justice should be delivered for those who have been fighting for years put together. It was a 9-year-long battle that have been fought by the residents in the adjoining areas. It's their battle which has been finally won, and one needs to celebrate the heroes there who've essentially ensured that we can see today. We can see that these illegal towers that were created, some of the tallest structure, it's about 100 meters bigger than the Qutub Minar. For those of you who've been here in the national capital and have seen the iconic Qutub Minar, you could perhaps gauge how tall this building would have been. And to bring that down, remember, it must have been a huge challenge also, because the builder, Supertech, as well as Noida authorities, they had challenged the Allahabad High Court in the apex court. But remember, the Supreme Court essentially said that this was an act of collusion between corrupt builders as well as officials of the Noida authority. So there are larger questions that we are going to raise tonight. But viewers, take a look at this report where we bring together all that has happened, and that 9 second of when the building came crashing down. You must take a look at this report.
In less than 9 seconds, Noida Sector 93A skyline changed forever. Controlled waterfall implosions brought down the 100-meter tall illegally constructed structure. Mountain of debris lies where once stood the Noida Twin Towers of corruption. A big message has been sent with the biggest ever demolition that the country has ever seen.
Celebrating here, they are distributing laddu, they are playing Holi, so it is a...
Residents of Noida celebrate the delivery of justice as the towers of deceit crumble to the ground.
Well, we are now seeing as to how the residents of nearby societies are now celebrating here. They are distributing laddu, they are playing Holi, so it is a big day of celebration for them. Let me try to ask from them about the reason of this celebration. Though it's evident that they are celebrating the demolition of Twin Tower, let me try to ask them, laddu किस लिए?
एक डिमोलिशन हुआ है इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन का, 10 साल के करप्ट प्रैक्टिस 10 सेकंड में गिर गया.
The residents believe that the downfall of the towers is a tight slap on the face of corruption, and rightly so.
It's really awesome here. It's like the corruption, the illegal thing which took 10 years is blown down in 10 seconds. This demolished like nothing. All over smoke everywhere, and really happy, and this is a big slap to the people who are doing corruption in India.
However, it's a day of mixed emotions for the home buyers who invested their hard-earned money into the Supertech towers as they witnessed the towers turn into rubble.
जो बचे हुए हैं उनको कोई हार्म ना हो, क्योंकि जो होना था वो तो हो चुका, जिसने किया वो भी हो चुके। भ्रष्ट है, त्रस्त है, आई डोंट केयर। अब हमें उनके साथ कुछ नहीं लेना देना है। ये तो जो होना था बिहारी जी की इच्छा से सब हो चुका। तो हम ये चाहते थे बिहारी जी किसी को कोई तकलीफ ना हो।
In the aftermath of the super demolition, the area is engulfed with clouds of dust and smoke. But the clouds of corruption have definitely been cleared out with this Super Sunday demolition. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, in fact, it's a huge privilege to have those who are behind this entire activity of bringing down this building. There were several fears, starting with the fact that the vibration or the shock waves, what sort of an impact would that essentially have on the adjacent buildings? Remember, the companies that have been involved in this, edifice as well as Jet, the South African company, both together, that they've essentially they've done the study. Now, who are the people who are behind it? What kind of a study that was essentially done to understand? Joining me is part of that demolition team. I would like you to introduce yourself to our viewers and your role in this particular team. What was your role in the demolition team?
Yeah. I am Dr. Anil Joseph from Geostructurals Cochin, and we were given the task of assessing the stability of the structure around, analyzing how the building will behave during that time, and to study the component. And also we were given the task of vibration measurement, which we have done with Professor Bhuminathan and Tarun Askar and team from IIT Madras. So where we have to measure what exactly is happening during the fall. So we had geophones and accelerometers connected. So there was a major concern. There is a gale pipeline running across. So we want to understand what exactly is the vibration happening there. So we have instrumented that. We have studied. We predicted what is the behavior going to happen in the structures based on the data given by Jet demolition. So that this is the impact going to happen. They have put the explosive. They predicted that this is the force they are going to hit the ground. And this is the vibration likely. And based on that, we stimulated the building and modeled it and made sure that it is safe to withstand the business. And it has gone exactly as planned.
As I understand, you all created a model of the same twin towers, and what is the impact that it's going to have?
No, model of the surrounding structures and the behavior, because twin tower is anyway going to fall down. So that it is going to hit the ground, it's going to create vibration. So professor and team has measured all those vibrations. And we have predicted what was the vibration and how the damages that vibration is going to affect the neighbor building, whether it will fall down or not. It was studied and proven that it is going to be stable. And CBRI vetted our design and has given approval and has gone over with the execution.
Can I ask you this question with regards to what would the fear in your mind? Because at the end of the day, we were talking about bringing down two such twin towers. We were talking about a building which is barely 9 meters away. So I'm sure there would have been some amount of fear in carrying out the activity. I want you to tell our viewers in as simple words to try and explain what are the concerns that you've had and what is it that looked like a huge challenge at that point in time, but you successfully managed to do it, Professor.
So our involvement is to measure the vibration during demolition. Actually, we have extensively instrumented using geophones. First time we are using wireless geophones, 10 geophones, then as well as 6 accelerometers to measure the acceleration level. It is mainly that in case future would have damaged that building, whether it is the cause of the vibration or not, as well as to predict vibration at any other locations also we can measure actually. In case some other buildings are damaged, whether that is due to the demolition of the building or not, that also we can react.
Can you perhaps give me an example, just for the understanding of all our viewers, in terms of the vibration that it would have created? We are using about 3,700 kilogram of explosive, so undoubtedly it's going to have the vibration would be much higher. If you can really explain it for our viewers, what does it really mean? That few 9 seconds that the explosion takes place, the vibration happens. Can you explain it, the impact of it?
See, the final impact only can be known after analyzing the data. So initially there are going to be some test blasts couple of months back where we recorded all the value and that value was found to be very minimum. But yeah, now this time that entire building has collapsed. But we have put all these 3D geophones, accelerometer extensively, and we believe that that will be safe. But again, final results we have to analyze it, and then only can say. Yeah.
We may expect higher vibration level, particularly close to this surrounding, but the actual duration is very short actually. So it is like, because of the...
Did you all predict how long?
Maximum maybe 10 seconds, 12 seconds. Blasting maybe 9 seconds. Ground motion maybe maximum 10 seconds or 15 seconds actually.
That's the prediction that you all have.
Because based on earlier demolition at Marudu, Cochin.
Same team which did in Cochin. So at that time we were part of the government of Kerala. I was the engineer, structural engineer who was signing the documents.
That was very different because obviously that in terms of the size was very different.
Much bigger scale because it was 60 meter tall, 20-story building. But then the same thing had the experience, and jet demolition was on the opposite side that time. So we were doing the design calculation checking. So we had the experience of working with them, and they have called us as experts in this project. So we came be part of their team to get this task done. So that experience helped us in predicting the behavior.
Now, I understand it's too early to make any sort of evaluation right now, but just from your experience and from the fact that you have done the proper study and you've understood, and the prediction essentially being that after the explosion, it would have been a 10-second kind of a vibration would have been the 10 to 15 second. So if I have to keep those numbers in mind, would it be safe to say that we've done a fantastic job this afternoon?
Yes, I agree with that because the buildings are standing. That itself shows that the job is done well.
Yeah.
But the reason is vibration level may be high because the duration is very short. That's what we have shown in our earlier report.
But it won't cause any damage. It's like you pointed out. It was a almost book perfection fall. It was a 9-second planning. The fall we predicted, the angle we predicted. Only thing we just went little overboard in the ATS compound wall. Other than that, it was as predicted as it happened. One of our seismograph is buried below the debris now. So we have to retrieve that.
Pardon me, you all are the experts. We are not the experts.
No,
but just
that's why we share the knowledge,
just because we were standing from a vantage position, because when the building came crashing down, we saw some of the debris material flying off to the other neighboring buildings. Would that have some sort of an impact in terms of the damage or little bit of...
It's a very minor damage. There will be some small damages, but very minor damage. So if you know that, we have extensively put crack meters measuring all the behavior, and we had a very long bundles of report of the pre-blast condition of the building, and we will do a post-blast analysis of each building, each unit, and we'll come up with a report, and whatever be the damages, we will take care of.
How long would that essentially take?
So it takes another maybe a week's time of activity to get it compiled.
So that was the demolition team. I think so. Even the police have come in. We'll try and just perhaps go towards the other direction and continue with our broadcast. But you've essentially heard the demolition team themselves speaking to us. They were basically part of the demolition that took place in Kerala. And they're the same team who are here. They're saying that they've done a proper study of the vibration. They're saying that essentially, as per their understanding, their prediction, after the explosion took place, the vibration of the ground would have been for roughly about 10 to 15 seconds. Would that really mean that it's going to have that kind of an impact? It's for the experts to really weigh in on this because they are saying that it's going to take perhaps another week or so to do that entire study and analysis that is essentially going to be done. And once the analysis is done, they'll come up with that particular report. So first on Republic right now, the demolition team, which has essentially done the study for the vibration and which is extremely crucial right now. They were with us on Republic TV. I think so. We'll also put out those breaking news details of what the demolition team had to say in terms of in terms of the vibrations that were created minutes after or within seconds after the implosion that took place. We've also got another report. Remember, what has essentially happened is that this bringing down of these towers have brought in a lot of joy for Noida residents. A lot of them who've faced the hassle of dealing with builders, dealing with bureaucrats, because remember, there are several scores of hundreds of stories that keep coming of the fact that most of these home buyers have been duped. They've not been given their apartments on time, or the projects have not either taken off despite paying the money. The EMIs have gone, but still they haven't. So that today, with the demolition of this, somewhere down the line, it's not only brought justice to several of these residents in this area, but to all those who've had a harrowing time dealing with builders. Take a look at this report.
$3,700 kilograms of explosives, 9,400 points of explosion. Watch how this 103-meter tall symbol of corruption was brought to the ground in a span of just 9 seconds.
Tower of deceit, the tower of corruption has finally been brought down. It's now been turned into dust. The 32 and the 29th floor Twin Tower has finally been brought down. The biggest message to all those corrupt officials, to those corrupt builders: no longer will India tolerate this. Today, what you're witnessing is corruption has come down. It is a meltdown of clearly those people who thought that they could have taken every Indian for a ride. And this perhaps is the biggest lesson, as we saw in just about 9 seconds.
Producing a dust cloud that rose about 300 meters above ground level, this megastructure was reduced to 80,000 tons of rubble. 30,000 tons of debris will be processed, while the remaining 50,000 tons of the debris will be buried. It would take over 3 months to clear this debris from the demolition site. The air quality index was also being closely monitored. At 1:30 p.m., the air quality index stood at a moderate level of 94. By 2:30 p.m. at the time of demolition, the AQI rose to 101, a level considered unhealthy for sensitive groups. At 3:30 p.m., the AQI rose marginally to 102. To counter the possible environmental hazard from the resulting dust clouds, fire tenders were ready on the spot. 10 anti-smog guns were used, along with water tankers fitted with sprinklers. Sweeping machines were also deployed on roads within a radius of 2 kilometers from the demolition site. In the controlled explosion that was conducted after months of planning, authorities suggest there was minimal impact to residents and property nearby.
आसपास की सोसाइटीज़ में कोई डैमेज ब्रॉडली नहीं है, लेकिन जैसा मैंने बताया अभी जस्ट ब्लास्ट होके हटा है। एक घंटे के अंदर स्थिति बेहतर पता लगेगी।
लार्जली जो पूरी एक्सरसाइज है एज पर प्लान्स थी और उसका एग्जीक्यूशन बिल्कुल एज पर प्लान हुआ है। बाकी अभी एक्सपर्ट टीम्स जो है वो मौके पे हैं, वो असेसमेंट कर रहे हैं। हम लोग भी अब उधर ही जा रहे हैं। उनका असेसमेंट के बाद जो है आपको फिर अपडेट देंगे।
हमारे को एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने रिक्वेस्ट किया था टीम स्टैंड बाय करने के लिए, जो उनके रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से हमने टीम्स यहाँ लगा रखी हैं। रेस्ट जितनी भी डिटेल है प्रशासन देख रहा है, उसको तो आपको वहाँ से मिल जाएंगे। एनडीआरएफ का जितना काम था वो पूरा होने का हमारे अभी तक कोई रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है।
What was once a 103-meter tall behemoth was reduced to rubble in a span of 9 seconds. And the mammoth exercise, which took months of planning, has resulted in minimal impact to property and the environment. And what the nation witnessed today also serves as a strong message against the misdeeds of corruption. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, let me also bring in my colleague Nivedana, who's joining us on this broadcast. In fact, she was also at another vantage point witnessing up close the demolition that took place. Nivedana, as we are closer to the debris site, the sense that we get right now is that the authorities essentially trying to clear up the entire area. Why don't you first walk us through the details that you're picking up? Just show us around what's really happening around you.
Right, Shravan. So if you do look behind me, just a few minutes ago, actually, there was a lot of curiosity amongst the public, and they'd all, gathered over here. But the police personnel cordoned all of them off because it was obstructing the work that was happening here. Now, if you can look further, there are machines that are in complete action, doing the job continuously. Earlier, we did see several other bulldozers as well as tractors which were picking up these pieces and were delimited from one point to the other. As of now, this entire area, as you can see, is deployed with heavy security. In fact, there is a barricade as well towards my right. Now, this is to ensure that no public can come in, because this particular area had a couple of people walking towards and obstructing everything that was happening here, because they are trying to settle the debris as well as get all the pieces of the building delivered from one aspect to one side to the other. Now if you look on my left, there's work happening there too. In fact, there are barricades placed over there towards the end of the road. We also see water sprinklers in action, which have been in action ever since the demolition did take place at 2:30 p.m. This is to just ensure that the dust also settles down. Shawan.
Well, thank you very much, Nivedana, for getting us this report. We'll be tracking the story very closely. In fact, my colleague Piyush also spoke to a few of the residents. Listen.
Let me try to get in a word from one of the residents who was seen chanting slogans in favor of Lord Krishna. आप बिहारी जी के नारे लगा रहे हैं, क्या कारण?
उसका कारण यही है जो हमारे नेबर के साथ ये सब हुआ है। हम चाहते हैं किसी को हार्म ना हो। हमारी पूरी सोसाइटी नहीं, हमारा पूरा होल हिंदुस्तान चाहता है कि जितना भी ये डेमोलिशन हुआ, जिन जिन को ये हार्म और नियर अबाउट पड़ोसी जो हैं उनको कोई हार्म ना हो, जो बचे हुए हैं उनको कोई हार्म ना हो, क्योंकि जो होना था वो तो हो चुका, जिसने किया वो भी हो चुके। भ्रष्ट है, त्रस्त है, आई डोंट केयर। अब हमें उनके साथ कुछ नहीं लेना देना है। ये तो जो होना था बिहारी जी की इच्छा से सब हो चुका। तो हम ये चाहते थे बिहारी जी किसी को कोई तकलीफ ना हो, किसी को कोई तकलीफ ना हो।
Also, let me try to get in a very important voice. She is the one who had basically invested in Twin Tower and she is the one who was at the receiving end. Let me try to understand from her. Ma'am, आज आप कैसा महसूस कर रही हैं? आपने ट्विन टावर में पैसा लगाया था, आप ये कह रहे हैं आपके साथ धोखा हुआ, आज वो ट्विन टावर जो है वो टूट के नीचे आ गया, क्या कहेंगे?
हमारा पैसा मिट्टी में मिल गया, इसके अलावा कुछ और नहीं। हमारा पैसा यूं जाके बह गया। अब अगर इसको कोई लगाने वाला है तो आपके थ्रू आवाज़ पहुंचे उन लोगों तक कि जिनको पता चले कि इतना भी ये सब भी हुआ है। और मैं कोशिश भगवान से दुआ है कि हमारे बराबर वाले टावर्स पर कुछ ना पहुंचे, उनको कोई हार्म ना हो। हमारा तो जो हुआ सो हुआ, लेकिन जो वहाँ रह रहे हैं एस्टर 2 के लोग, मैं तब से यही देखने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ कि क्या पत्थर उसमें तो नहीं गिरे हैं, एस्टर 2 और 3 में।
मुस्कुरा भी रही हैं, साथ साथ मैं आप देख पा रहा हूँ आपकी आंखें भी नम हैं, आंखों में आंसू भी हैं। लेकिन क्या ऐसा हुआ कि ये सब यहाँ तक लड़ाई यहाँ तक पहुँच गई? कई सारी चीज़ें आप लोगों ने डिफ़िकल्टीज़ भी फेस की। मैंने ये सुना कि आप उसी बिल्डिंग के साथ वाली बिल्डिंग में अब रेंट पर रह रही हैं। आप पहले चाहते थे ट्विन टावर में आपका घर हो।
हाँ, हम इसीलिए वहाँ रेंट पे रहना शुरू किया था कि जैसे घर बनेगा हम इसमें शिफ्ट हो जाएंगे, क्योंकि बच्चों की पढ़ाई सब उसी एरिया में हो रही है तो वो इजी हो जाएगा। लेकिन आज वो उम्मीद ऐसे तो ख़त्म ही हो चुकी है। लेकिन कम से कम आप लोग के थ्रू योगी जी तक, बड़े बड़े अधिकारियों तक ये आवाज़ पहुँचे कि हम क्यों बैंक के डिफ़ॉल्टर हैं। जो चीज़ मिट्टी में मिली हुई है हम उसके लिए डिफ़ॉल्टर हैं। पैसा मत दीजिए, कम से कम डिफ़ॉल्टर तो मत बनाइए। हमें आज़ाद तो कर दीजिए उस टैक्स से जो हमारे पैन कार्ड पे और हमारे अकाउंट्स पे लगे हुए हैं।
Well, in fact, the cost of this entire demolition was almost 20 crore rupees, and the company responsible for it was Edifice. Along with it was the South African company Jet. In fact, one of their top officials essentially indicated that he was extremely nervous given the fact that all of this had to go as per the plan. Any fault would have resulted in massive scale of damage, but it certainly comes across as a day when it's going to be a huge relief for many, but also several questions need to be asked today about the fact that why in the first place was this building standing here? Second, who allowed it and why no action was taken? Just by suspending two Noida authority official, is that enough? Are bigger fish still outside? There are several questions that are to be raised right now, even though many would say that we perhaps should not stop with just that spectacle that you saw this afternoon. There are more questions that need to be asked. There are more questions to be asked so that a repeat of this twin tower does not happen.
Following the 8-wicket victory against Sri Lanka in the first match of the Asia Cup 2022, Afghanistan skipper Mohammad Nabi praised the opener and said that the opening duo of Hazrat Ullah Zazai and Rahman Ullah Gurbaz, whose crucial knocks gave the team a good start. Mohammad Nabi led Afghanistan, outplayed Sri Lanka in all three departments of the game to register an 8-wicket victory in the opening game of Asia Cup 2022. Here are the other international stories we're tracking at this hour. African heads of state, representatives of international organizations and private business leaders gathered in Tunisia for the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, a trillion event launched by Japan to promote growth and security in Africa. The summits have generated 26 development projects in 20 African countries. The discussion around an increase of Japanese investments in Africa is anticipated with particular focus on supporting startups and food security initiatives. Members of the Municipal Council in Tripoli have called for calm after deadly clashes broke out in Libya's capital between militias backed by its two rival administrations, portending a return to violence amid a long political statement. At least 13 civilians were killed and over 95 wounded, added that 64 families were evacuated from areas around the fighting. The leaders of France and Algeria took an important step on Saturday towards mending relations scarred by disputes.
It's the biggest demolition in India. Noida Supertech twin towers reduced to rubble in controlled implosion. $3,700 kilograms of explosives, twin tower razed to the ground in just 9 seconds. $103-meter tall symbol of corruption reduced to rubble. It's the biggest message to the corrupt. Big post-demolition exercise underway. Fire tenders, smoke guns deployed. Debris now being cleared. Air quality remains under control after massive demolition exercise remains in the moderate level. As towers of deceit implode and bite the dust, residents rejoice. Celebrations break out across Noida.
खुशियाँ छाएंगी चारों, मैं मन में विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब आज ही.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the live and breaking from the debris spot. This is the very place where the twin towers were standing till about 2:30 this afternoon. Within 9 seconds, the towers of deceit, the towers of corruption were brought down. What you see right now on your screens remains of this very tower. I'll just take you through all the details that we have picked up so far, including we've spoken to the demolition team. Perhaps you can also put out the interview of the demolition team once again in a short while from now for you to understand what really happened, what's the impact like. But I'll try first to take you through all that we can see in front of us and also What's the situation in and around this area? We are right now inside the very place where the Twin Towers used to stand till about this afternoon. What remains right now are complete rubble in this entire area. Just take a look at what remains of the two Twin Towers. 100-meter tall building that came crashing down within just about 9 seconds. Now, what's the situation in and around? Let's take you through that first. Now, just about 9 meters from where this building was standing, you had the other. That was the other. I'm told that there is a press conference that's being done by the Mumbai-based edifice, the company that had.
Hello. Good evening all. Just waiting for a project manager from edifice. He's just coming in a couple of minutes. And we will start and then we leave it on to you for the time. We don't have any pressure on time now. Till date we used to, sometimes we used to give you some bites, some information, sometimes we were avoiding. We had our own pressures. But now we are all relieved, all of us sitting on the dais here. And so that's how we have requested your team to be here. Whoever are here, we really obliged, thankful that you've come all the way. I know it was a long day for all of us. All of us were on site from about 6 in the morning. And we all were in bad shape. I don't know, we tried to arrange some foods, stuff for you guys. Packets were arranged. Whether they reached you or not, I am not sure about it. But we tried to do that. So that's what from our end. I would just try to say today what we've called for a brief from our end. That's edifice as well as jet demolition. It's purely our part of the story. There's nothing to do with any other stakeholders. So we are here to just make sure that what we've done, if you have any queries in your mind, and what we've done, what we've achieved, and maybe a little bit on what is going to be there. So all these three things put together is what the core reason for us calling you guys here. He is always on phone. I'm sorry. And he shouts on top of his voice as well. Alright, so we can start now. I would, in short, I'll brief who all are us on this dais as of now. We have Alpesh Gala, he's the chief account from our end, edifice engineering. Then we have Mayur Mehta, he was the project manager for the project, entire project. He was here deployed for last 6 months almost. I'm Utkarsh Mehta, I'm the partner to edifice engineering. Is Mr. Joseph Brixpen, and he's the mastermind. I have many things I can take half an hour to introduce him, but in short, he is the mastermind for the whole event what we saw today. He's from Jet Demolition, he's the managing director for Jet Demolition. Then we have Jigar Cheda, who's another partner to edifice engineering. Then we have Kevin Smith. He's the, I don't want to okay, we are really light now, so some funny moments we might have. So please don't maybe record us. So anyways, Kevin is a project manager or he's senior project manager from Jet Demolition. He is also with us for last 6 months on site. Then we have Martinez Botha. He's a safety in charge from Jet Demolition and blast coordinator for the overall project. So this is the team what we have here sitting on a dais. And as I told you, this is especially being called as a brief from our end with no offense to any of the stakeholders with us in this project. And we would like to tell you our story. We would like to tell you our story, what we've done, what we had envisaged, how the results came out, and what is the down the line future from our end. So anyone can start. Rather, if you have questions on these lines specifically, I would like to take it from you guys so that we can start going.
Sir, पहला सवाल ये है, मैं नोएडा का डॉक्टर हूँ.
जो कंपन का आपने आकलन किया था वो कितना रहा और आकलन पहले अंदाजा क्या था?
Okay, these are all mics are all on. Should I speak to this or this is fine? Okay. Now vibrations की जो आप पूछ रहे हैं, हमने तकरीबन 13 और तकरीबन 20 के ऊपर मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम्स लगाई है. वी हैव रिमूव द सिस्टम्स आफ्टर द ब्लास्ट. हमने फर्स्ट थिंग वही किया, जाके वो जहाँ हमने लगाया था वो सब निकाल के ले लिए, जिसमें CBRI के भी थे और एडिफिस इंजीनियरिंग ने भी किया था थ्रू थर्ड पार्टी विच इज़ IIT चेन्नई. नाउ ये डेटा को ये लोग असिमुलेट करेंगे. दे विल कम आउट विद द रिजल्ट्स. इट कैन नॉट बी डन टुडे. It will take its time, maybe another week or 2 weeks I would say, because everyone will go back to their own respective places. वापस जाएंगे, फिर उसको एनालाइज करेंगे and they'll come back. So हम आपको इतना ही बता सकते हैं कि 2 weeks के बाद ये रिपोर्ट्स हम obviously we have to share with authority, with CBRI, everyone. तो उसके लिए आपको थोड़ा टाइम दीजिए.
अच्छा, दूसरा जिज्ञासा है मलबे, क्योंकि 90 दिन के अंदर इसको हटाने का आदेश दिया है, तो क्या जितना मलबा है वो क्या 90 दिन लगा रहता है या इसकी अपनी बढ़ सकती है?
नहीं, ये हमको 90 दिन की जरूर जो बात आप बोल रहे हो सही बोल रहे हो. 90 दिन हमको दिए गए और हमको लगता है 90 दिन में हम ये काम पूरा भी कर सकते हैं. इसमें हमको तकनीकी रीजंस दो ही हो सकते हैं कि हमको दोनों RW के साथ मिलके ये करना है, बिकॉज ये एक ईजी जॉब नहीं है उनके लिए भी. ऑलरेडी वो लोग इतना भुगत चुके हैं और आगे 3 महीना जो है जिसमें आवाज़ होगा, ज़्यादातर आवाज़ का इशू आएगा. सो हमने उनसे ऑलरेडी ये बात पे डिस्कस कर चुके हैं कि भी हम लोग को ऐसे टाइम सिलेक्ट करेंगे, जैसे दोपहर है तो हम 2 घंटा उसको बंद कर सकते हैं, काम बंद कर सकते हैं. वो टाइम में ऐसे काम करें जिसमें आवाज़ ना होए. सो वो हमको उनके साथ बैठ के लाइन अप करना है कि अगर हमारा टाइम हमको ज़्यादा मिलता है काम करने के लिए तो 3 months इज़ इनफ हमारे लिए कि ये काम करके हम बाहर निकल सकते हैं. दैट्स ऑल.
अगर कोई जो अपार्टमेंट उस पर जो चादर लगाई गई थी वो फटी हुई है, तो क्या आप लोग टीम वहाँ पे गए थे? कोई ऐसा हालत की हुई है बगल के अपार्टमेंट को कोई नुकसान पहुँचा है, कोई ग्लास टूटे हुए हैं, कोई अभी आपके पास
जो जियो टेक्सटाइल मटेरियल फटा हुआ है, जो थोड़ा बहुत हुआ था, दैट्स बिफोर इट वाज जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ द विंड. एंड हम लोग ने मुआयना किया है, हाँ थोड़े बहुत ग्लास टूटे हुए हैं. सो हमारी टीम वहाँ पे है ऑलरेडी एंड दे विल बी कोऑर्डिनेट विद द रेसिडेंट्स एंड विल फिक्स देम.
और दूसरा, बिल्डिंग कोलैप्स होने के बाद जो आप लोगों ने अनुमान लगाया था कि जो उसका मलबा है दायरे में गिरना चाहिए, क्योंकि हम लोग देखने में आ रहा है कि जो कोलैप्स हुआ है थोड़ा सा रोड साइड में भी है, तो क्या वो आप लोगों के अनुमान के मुताबिक ऐसा संभावना थी या वो आप लोगों के अनुमान से थोड़ा अलग?
सो बेसिकली हमारा मेन इंटेंशन था कि जो एमरल्ड तरफ जो एस्पायर 2 और एस्पायर 3 एस्टर 2 एंड एस्टर 3 जो एकदम नज़दीक थे, 9 मीटर दूर थे, वो टावर्स को कुछ भी हानि नहीं होनी चाहिए थी. सो वहाँ पे थोड़ी भी डेब्रिस गई नहीं है. मेन रोड की तरफ भी कोई डेब्रिस नहीं आई है. जो अपना ATS टावर का जो कंपाउंड वॉल है वो एक तरफ 7-8 मीटर कुछ टूटा हुआ है, बिकॉज डेब्री थोड़ा वहाँ पे गया है, जो हमने उनको पहले से बताया था कि थोड़ा वहाँ पे जा सकता है. सो हम लोग ने ऐसा बोल सकते हैं कि जो प्रेडिक्ट किया तो ऑलमोस्ट वैसा ही हुआ है.
किसी बिल्डिंग में किसी तरह का कोई क्रैक या कुछ भी ऐसी चीज जिसका आकलन करना बाकी है आप लोग ने?
सो बेसिक हम लोग ने गॉजेस चेक कर लिए हैं, जो क्रैकोमीटर, जो क्रैक्स के जो पहले से गैप्स थे हमने ऑलरेडी बेसिक जो चेकिंग था वो कर लिया और सेम है. और स्ट्रक्चरली कोई भी बिल्डिंग को टच भी नहीं हुआ है डेब्रिस. तो स्ट्रक्चर
धमाका होते हुए आप सामने देखेंगे और इसके बाद ये दोनों इमारतें, ये धमाका हो चुका है. देखिए
मंदी नहीं है.
and this side.
जबरदस्त धमाका आपने देखा अभी.
The most awaited execution of a Supreme Court verdict finally took place this afternoon, with the Twin Towers finally being brought down. What you see behind me is the debris, what remains of the Twin Towers, 100-meter tall building which is brought down in just 9 seconds, as what many would say that this was a tower of monumental corruption. This tower was a monumental corruption that has finally been brought down. But what went behind it is a long battle, a battle fought for almost 9 years. The Resident Welfare Association of Emerald Court, the building just adjacent to where we are standing right now, is the very place which was affected for the longest time. It's their battle, and it's that battle that has been won. And many would say that today, by bringing down this tower, we've sent across a very strong message. But at the same time, we've also raised some very uncomfortable questions. The uncomfortable questions about the unholy nexus between corrupt babus and corrupt builders. Their nexus has also been exposed. But should we let the fire that has now been ignited, let it down, or should we continue with that fight? Many residents today say that it's time to rejoice. The fact that their battle, they won the battle finally. It's muscle power that has been defeated, money power that has been defeated.
The Supertech Twin Towers in Noida came crashing down in just about 9 seconds and have left behind a whopping 55,000 tons of debris. "22 smog guns were installed in various locations around the Twin Towers demolition site. People of Emerald Court have been fighting to bring down this building for a long time. And this comes as a lesson to all those builders who no longer can take home buyers for a ride. Justice has finally prevailed. This demolition will lead to a loss of about 1,000 crore rupees to the developer Supertech.
पुलिसकर्मी लगभग 550 के आसपास डिप्लॉय किए गए हैं और रिजर्व फोर्स 100 से अधिक है और 4 QRTs है। एक और एक्स्ट्रा हम लोग NDRF का टीम 2 जगह हम लोग डिप्लॉय कर रखे हैं।
About 5,000 residents from nearby societies were evacuated. The residents were allowed to return only after 4 p.m. after safety clearances from officials. The buildings in the vicinity were covered with geotextile fabric cover to avoid any damage due to the debris. NDRF teams and the task force were closely monitoring the situation.
टोटल कितने लोगों की सर टीम थी?
400 जन।
400 लोगों की टीम थी। तो देखिए 400 लोगों की टीम थी, तो सर आज जो है आप लोग यहाँ पे मुआयना करने के लिए आए हैं?
जी बिल्कुल, वही लास्ट मोमेंट चेक कर रहे हैं खाली। हमारे सेफ्टी इंचार्ज साथ में है, तो बस एक लास्ट मोमेंट चेक कर रहे हैं कि सब कुछ सेफ है, बराबर है, जो प्लान किया ऐसे हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है।
100 water tankers were deployed in various locations to be used in post-demolition cleaning activities. Medical and admin teams were on standby and the air quality index was monitored around the clock.
हम लोगों ने 50 बेड सुरक्षित किए हैं, जिसमें आईसीयू के बेड हैं, इमरजेंसी के बेड हैं, डे केयर है, ट्रायज एरिया है या आईसीयू है, वार्ड्स हैं। इसके अलावा हमारे जो ऑपरेशन थिएटर्स हैं, अगर कोई सर्जिकल इमरजेंसी होती है, किसी को चोट लगती है कि फ्रैक्चर होता है, उसके लिए वहाँ पे एनेस्थेटिस्ट है। तो इस तरह से हमने तैयारी की है कि अगर एम्बुलेंसेज की पूरी फ्लीट रखी है, 8 से 10 एम्बुलेंसेज इसी एरिया में रहेंगी।
Sanitation workers were also ready to start inspecting as soon as the demolition was complete. There were 2 sirens that went off at 2:15 p.m. and 2:27 p.m. right before the demolition. The Twin Tower was demolished as per plan. And just like that, the Tower of Deceit turned into dust, rubble and debris. 3,700 kilograms of explosives brought down the Noida Supertech Twin Towers after years of long legal battle over violation of construction laws. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt about the fact that the demolition that was carried out was with clinical precision. The buildings brought down in just 9 seconds. But what are the larger ramifications of this kind of a demolition? Let's not forget that it resulted in massive debris that was lying just behind me, and not just that, the cloud of dust which took several minutes to really settle down, obviously deteriorating the AQI condition. Let's not forget that in Noida we are not extremely lucky when it comes to breathable air. The air quality, whether that has deteriorated, and what sort of an impact does it really have on your health? Take a look at this report.
One of India's tallest buildings, Supertech Noida Twin Towers, was successfully demolished and reduced to rubble in just 9 seconds. However, with this big of a demolition, there definitely will be some major health hazards for the people living in the nearby area. The people living in neighboring residential buildings are having to take required measures to avoid any kind of serious consequences now that the Twin Towers have been demolished. A warning against a 5-fold increase in air pollution has been issued by the health experts and doctors, which could lead to several health issues. This massive demolition is likely to cause several weeks of health issues like headache, asthma attacks, phlegm and allergies, especially among people residing in the neighborhood areas. Following the demolition in mind, the residents have been advised to follow some do's and don'ts. It is pertinent to mention that several residents are themselves taking precautions. One of the residents of Parsvanath Prestige Society told Republic that they will make sure to wear masks.
We are worried about it because we are not aware how much pollution would be there. There would be around 3,500 metric ton of dust which would be there, which I have seen in last few days. So that Malwa, so dust, so that would be going to few kilometers. So let's see where would be the side of the wind which would be going. And
when are you planning to go back to your residence, to your society?
So hopefully after the explosion, they'll confirm us. They'll check each flat, towers and everything. So thinking probably after 7 p.m. only we can get any updates for that.
The health experts say that for now it is best for everyone to stay indoors with their windows shut. People have also been advised to refrain from stepping outside their houses.
उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार ने हमारे हॉस्पिटल को सेफ हॉस्पिटल घोषित किया है। इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर कोई अनहोनी होती है डिमोलिशन के टाइम पे तो उस समय हमारा हॉस्पिटल हाई अलर्ट पे रहेगा। हम लोगों ने 50 बेड सुरक्षित किए हैं, जिसमें आईसीयू के बेड हैं, इमरजेंसी के बेड हैं, डे केयर है, ट्रायज एरिया है या आईसीयू है, वार्ड्स हैं। इसके अलावा हमारे जो ऑपरेशन थिएटर्स हैं, अगर कोई सर्जिकल इमरजेंसी होती है, किसी को चोट लगती है कि फ्रैक्चर होता है, उसके लिए वहाँ पे एनेस्थेटिस्ट हैं, वहाँ पे सर्जन्स हैं, ऑर्थोपेडिक सर्जन्स हैं, न्यूरो सर्जन्स हैं, वो लोग हाई अलर्ट पे रहेंगे।
People living in the neighboring areas must also wear an N95 mask when they leave their house and must protect their eyes with sunglasses. Additionally, residents have also been advised to maintain good hygiene so as to not catch infections that could be caused due to the aftermath of the demolition. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Let's take a look at the top stories that we're tracking at this hour. The Noida Twin Towers turned to rubble in 9 seconds after years of corruption and long legal battle on violation of construction laws. 3,700 kilograms of explosives brought down the Twin Towers. The wind direction around the Supertech Twin Towers had changed towards east ahead of the demolition, which will make dust particles drift towards Greater Noida and Bulandshahr instead of Delhi. As per the officials, wind directions in the west would have been favourable, as it would have taken the dust to open park instead of the residential parks behind the Twin Towers. A total of 7 to 8 ambulances were on standby with 50 beds at the Felix Hospital. Health experts have advised people in surrounding areas to stay indoors with doors and windows shut. They also advised to wear face masks while stepping out. UP government has installed 6 dust machines to keep the pollution levels in check, keeping in mind the aftermath of the demolition of Noida Twin Towers. Speaking to Republic, the police informed that the demolition went as per the plans, but they will continue to monitor the situation. Following the exit of senior leader Ghulam Nabi Azad and 7 others from Congress, the resignation trend is likely to continue in the party's Jammu and Kashmir unit, as the veteran politician Ghulam Nabi Azad plans to float his own party to contest the forthcoming elections in the Union Territory. Mass resignations are expected by Congress workers today. Another party leader, M.A. Khan, quit the Grand Old Party in Telangana. Former Rajya Sabha parliamentarian Khan resigned from the Congress just a day after Ghulam Nabi Azad's exit came as a huge blow. In his letter to the senior Congress leadership, he said the party had been going downhill since Rahul Gandhi took over as the vice president. What's the ramification like after the massive demolition that took place earlier in the day? We'll be tracking the story very closely on the other side with my colleague Shivangi Shukla.
The newly appointed cardinals received relatives and other guests at the Apostolic Palace in Vatican City after being formally elevated to the rank by Pope Francis. Francis raised 20 more churchmen to the rank of cardinal, formally expanding those now eligible to vote for his successor in case he dies or resigns. The 85-year-old Francis has named more than half of the elector cardinals. A major cryptocurrency metaverse event was held in Madrid as Spanish financial authorities warned about its regulation and opposition politicians called for its cancellation. The CNMV stock market regulator this week warned that neither the organizers of the event, Mundo Crypto, nor the sponsors have authorization to provide investment services or gather funds.
That erupted in the PVC waste area international capital.
जब तक मनीष सिसोदिया की गिरफ्तारी नहीं हो जाती है, तब तक ये विरोध प्रदर्शन जारी रहेगा. Court has granted both the accused to the police custody over the death of Sonali Fogart.
This is the question which Aam Aadmi Party is asking from BJP.
Time to take a look as to what is happening in the world of sports. Cricket rivals India and Pakistan are set to clash in the Asia Cup, which is being held in Dubai. Both the teams shall look to display their best game on the field. In their previous clash in the T20 World Cup 2021, Pakistan beat India by 10 wickets.
What you're witnessing is corruption has come down. As of now, it seems everything is under control. No reports of any untoward incident taking place. Most of these residents, they were asked to evacuate by 7 o'clock this morning. They'll have to perhaps return in the next 24 hours only after a safety certificate is basically issued. Hopefully, things are going to be for the better for those who've been suffering for years. Ladies and gentlemen, the tower of deceit, the tower of corruption has finally been brought down. It's now been turned into dust in just about 9 seconds. The biggest message to all those corrupt officials: no longer will India tolerate this.
now the residents are right now celebrating the demolition of Twin Towers, and right behind me the colorful pictures are coming in where they are not only dancing but also playing Holi.
एक डिमोलिशन हुआ है इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन का, 10 साल के करप्ट प्रैक्टिस 10 सेकंड में गिर गया।
भ्रष्टाचार के रावण और कुंभकर्ण का दहन तो होना ही था।
That erupted in the PVC waste area in the national capital.
जब तक मनीष सिसोदिया की गिरफ्तारी नहीं हो जाती है तब तक ये विरोध प्रदर्शन जारी रहेगा। Court has granted both the accused to the police custody over the death of Sonali Fogart.
This is the question which Aam Aadmi Party is asking from BJP.
Viewers, it's the biggest story tonight and these are the headlines. It's the biggest demolition in India. Noida Supertech Twin Towers reduced to rubble in controlled implosion. $3,700 kilograms of explosive twin tower razed to the ground in just 9 seconds. $103-meter tall symbol of corruption reduced to rubble. It's the biggest message to the corrupt. Big post-demolition exercise underway. Fire tenders, smoke, guns all deployed. Debris is now being cleared. Air quality remains under control after massive demolition exercise remains in the moderate level. As towers of deceit implode and bite the dust, residents rejoice. Celebrations break out across Noida.
छाएंगी चारों ओर खुशियाँ छाएंगी चारों, मैं मन में विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब आज ही।
Viewers, this is the biggest story tonight and it cannot get bigger than this. After a 9-year battle, the illegal Supertech towers were razed down in just 9 seconds. It was a blast. We heard a blast. We were there on spot and it came down as a cardboard, like a pack of cards. And it was definitely a very surreal experience for whoever was watching it live from our vantage points here. Republic TV is getting you all the details and all the angles, and we have a very special guest with me today. These are special because the residents behind me, you can see the residents behind me, these are the residents who have evacuated their home. They are the Emerald Court residents. Remember that Emerald Court and ATS village had completely evacuated. They left yesterday or in the morning and they cannot be back till evening today. So, you are the Emerald Court residents, and I would also like to say that the neighboring society has also extended their help. So this is what I was talking about, that in times like these, the community coming together and opening their hearts and space. And Mr. Rajneesh is from the neighboring society. I would have liked to come to the Emerald Court residents first, but you did a good job by helping your society extending a very, very big hand to the Emerald Court residents, opening your doors and your heart and making sure that they're all right.
Hi, I'm Rajneesh Nandan. I'm president of Pasanath Prestige RWA. Me, along with the team of EC here, along with including residents, we coordinated with the Emerald Court Task Force and RWA. Mr. Gaurav was one point and Mr. Naresh, anyway, of course Mr. Trivati as a president. When they connected us around months back, what is going to happen? We just told as many people can come to our society, we will take care of your lunch, your dinner, your medical services, your medical teams, everything was ready. And I think you can ask them.
I will like to ask them because we have met them at this society as well. They were there, and you left your house. When did you leave your house? By the way, I'm speaking to a resident of Emerald Court right now. When did you leave your house?
So we had to leave and we left by 7 a.m. And everyone, we were staying over here. Some of our friends went to the Silver City. We had like very elaborate and extensive arrangements. Thanks to Rajneesh uncle, who has done an amazing job. Gaurav Malhotra from our own RWA, like such an excellent effort they have put in for all of us. And we are so thankful that it was a textbook precision execution and very soon.
So you must have seen the demolition too. You went outside to see the demolition. And how did you feel? You were neighbors with Supertech. How did you feel when you saw the entire building crumble down? I'll of course ask our youngsters also who are here, but just a quick response from you first.
So yeah, we were on the terrace and we saw it live. We in fact made slow motion videos of that also. And it was a spectacular scene for us. We have been fighting in courts for like 10 years and it was a very emotional moment for us. And we look forward that we get to move into the society as soon as possible.
So when will you move in?
By tonight only.
By tonight. So you're all prepared to move in tonight. All right. We have youngsters here too. Are you guys in school?
No, I have just passed 12th. And today, in fact, I had JEE advanced exam.
Oh, wow. Wow. So this was a big day for you. But you had to come out of your home today. So where were you staying when you gave your exam? You came here. Were you apprehensive about it?
Actually, I was giving the examination so I could only watch the videos. I could not watch it live. But I was really excited. I was thinking what will happen. But then when I saw the videos, it was just spectacular. Like you could see in movies and stuff.
Yeah, it was almost like that, wasn't it? What about you?
Well, I didn't see that live, but I saw that on TV live, so it was really exciting and I liked it.
All right. Okay, we also have some more residents here. I'll come one by one. When I met you, in fact, when I met these residents and we were talking about them, we were talking about them for so long since morning. We were saying that they have to evacuate and that they have to leave their home for a while. So the first thing that we were talking on Republic TV as well, and when I had gone close to Emerald Court and I saw that so many homes have put a lot of covering outside their apartments, on their windows. Did you also do that?
We did nothing, only covered our ACs and sealed the window panels and doors panels. सिर्फ मास्किंग टेप लगाई एंड जो अपनी वॉल हैंगिंग्स वगैरह थी जो मोची कील पे लगी होती हैं उनको उतार के पलंग पे रख दिया, जो कांच के थे उनको बबल पैक कर दिया.
तो आपने बहुत precautions लिए थे. Some precautions were taken. Did you fear that something might happen because of vibrations?
No, the thing was that RWA had issued some instructions. They had only told us that you cover your balconies, you cover your ACs because the dust which will be coming, it will be full of cement and everything. So it could destroy your AC ducts and everything. So that is why we all covered and everybody applied their own mind. Like some people who were very near those towers, they thought of covering the whole balconies. Of course, that was very necessary when we actually saw the blast and the cloud of dust coming.
Yes, I mean, that is something very interesting and our viewers also saw it. When that blast happened, there was a huge cloud of dust because I was standing at a vantage point and I really thought the cloud of dust will travel all the way and I was at least 2-3 kilometers away.
Giving goosebumps. It was giving goosebumps, you know, everybody was holding the camera and our hands were shaking. And when we heard those blast sounds, it felt that we just don't know what is going to happen. I mean, we are feeling happy about the demolition of these towers. What is going to be the repercussion, whether everything is going to be okay or not? That was the fear we had, but yes, all our fears are gone now. And we have actually enjoyed. The sky is clear. It was like I was wearing 2 masks. I had an N95 and plus this. and still I was coughing at that time, and we all ran inside because the dust particles were falling on our head. My camera could capture those dust particles coming down.
Oh,
like
was it? Yeah. Because, so viewers, this society is extremely close to Emerald Court, so, but this society was not evacuated, even though the couple of towers around were evacuated. So this society was pretty safe.
This society was safe, and we have taken all the precaution. I can tell you one live experience which I had, I think, which I have not told to anyone till now. Me along with our secretary Mr. Pankaj and Mr. Gaurav, Mr. Naresh and all team was there standing in Genjai school with the NDRF team.
Okay. Yes, the NDRF had come on spot. Yes.
NDRF team was there, and we were so tensed last 10 seconds when the count was 10, 9, 8, 7. We all were holding our hands. Little bit of shiver was there, I can tell you. And the blast was there. We all closed our eyes, and I half think we have not seen. It was a miraculous moment. And second thing, God was with us with Pasanath Prestige. The wind movement turned to right directions, and we were saved with the dust. So God has saved us because good people are here. We are very religious people, and good people have come from Emerald Court also. So God was with us. That wind direction turned to right side.
हमारी तरफ थी विंड डायरेक्शन, जो सुबह हमें आ रहा था ना कि फ्लैग की डायरेक्शन से सब लोग कह रहे थे कि हमारी तरफ है.
Yeah, बहुत fears. In fact, I want to tell our viewers also that there were a lot of fears that once the explosion happens, the dust will go up in the air, and a lot of people, especially senior citizens, people who have issues with breathing, they were a little apprehensive about this because that could have irritated their throat, or they could have had breathing problems. So right now it seems that the dust has settled, right? It's better than expected.
We have put oxygen cylinders, oxygen concentrators. The bed also, madam needed bed there. We had a surgical bed here, and every preparation was there. We have covered the right side of that. You have seen Parmanu movie. Last scene of Parmanu movie, they have watched where is the wind direction. The explosion and dust should not go to Pakistan side, and we were also praying that dust should not come to our side. This was our prayer along with the LDCO residents, and it has saved us a lot.
Right, and you know, this is something, in fact, we have been talking on Republic TV as well, and every effort was made, and we reported on this, how scientific the planning was. Every engineering technique was being used to make sure that this execution is very smooth, and I think all of you would agree as well, and because you are also in Emerald Court. हाँ, did you have any doubts?
या नहीं, डाउट कुछ नहीं है, मेरा उसमें घर था एपिक्स में.
अच्छा.
जो हमने बुक किया था,
कहाँ पे बुक किया था?
एपिक्स में.
उस
टावर में जिसका पैसा भी नहीं मिला और घर भी मिट्टी में चला गया.
अच्छा,
तो हम एक अलग फेस हैं इस पिक्चर का.
So you had a house there in Supertech.
Yes.
अभी तो आपको अभी
पैसे भी नहीं है हमारे पास जो वापस मिलते, और घर भी अब नहीं है जो दिखता.
पैसे तो वापस आने थे ना, कुछ प्रॉमिस किया है?
नहीं आया ना.
Okay, so we have somebody here who had booked a apartment, who had bought a house in Supertech. So आपके लिए जब आपने देखा कि जो टावर है, आपने वहाँ पे एक अपार्टमेंट you had bought it. How did you feel?
वो सपनों का घर होता है जब आप पहली बार बुक करते हो, यंग एज में बुक करते हो. तो हम पिछले 10-12 साल से बैठे थे, शायद कोई राजा का राज होगा तो सब ठीक हो जाएगा, पर उनके लिए कुछ खराब नहीं हुआ क्योंकि अधर्म था तो गिरा, उसको गिरना ही था, पर हम तो कहीं भी नहीं बचे. हम तो पैसे से भी गए और घर को देखने से भी गए.
Okay. Right. So we are some more residents are here. In fact, many residents have been staying here. And आप कब वापस जाओगे? When do you plan to get back?
I will introduce you to a special guest.
All right.
What we do, our like better halves encourage us to do. So my wife was also praying for me, and she is Mr. Gaurav Mehrotra's wife, the chairman of the security team of LDCO,
right.
Emerald Court, and the daughter was supposed to, and she gave IIT advanced exam today.
Exactly, so yeah. I mean, this is very amazing, viewers. So you had an exam today. The day that you had to leave your house, you had an exam, and you were speaking to us a short while back. It really shows, how much strength you really had. With so much preparation going on, did it disturb you a little bit, or you were like you took it head on?
To prepare and go for packing, and we left yesterday itself because we had to leave early today. So it did disturb a bit, but my parents were there with me and everyone helped, so it was all fine.
So can you see this? Yeah.
And the grit of his father.
Yeah.
That he was telling us.
So,
this is the first
yeah.
time I'm not going with my daughter.
All right, so basically, the entire community coming together, it really shows, that despite any obstacle, what was more important was that those illegal towers come down. Even though people had examination, she had her IIT examination, she gave it today. She left her house and today she had to evacuate her house in Emerald Court and she gave her exam. Many people came together to help each other. We spoke to somebody who had booked a house in Supertech. We just spoke to her right now. She had booked a house in Supertech. For her, it was a bittersweet moment because what she has invested in, she also saw it crumbling down. So we can see that a lot of emotions, human emotions also coming together. I also want to talk to some of the ladies here. आपको क्या लग रहा है कि आप जब वापस जाओगे घर, आपका घर में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा? कुछ
उम्मीद तो नहीं है कि कोई प्रॉब्लम होगा बिकॉज आई डिडंट कवर एनीथिंग और हम थोड़े से दूर हैं तो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली हमारा कुछ नुकसान नहीं होगा. ओनली हमने एसी का जो है आउटलेट कवर किया था एंड वन बालकनी कवर किया था.
ओके एंड आप जो है यू कॉन्फिडेंट कि व्हेन यू गो बैक एवरीथिंग विल बी फाइन?
क्योंकि हम लोग का घर थोड़ा दूर था 100 मीटर की दूरी पे तो इतना वहाँ पे नहीं. और आई थिंक डोंट थिंक कि वहाँ पे डस्ट भी इतनी आई होगी क्योंकि उसका फेसिंग दिस साइड है कि
1 और 300 उनका थोड़ा है.
साइड पे चली गई तो हमारे साइड पे वो डस्ट भी इतनी नहीं आई होगी.
Right. Also, I was speaking to you some time back as well, and you were saying that you actually went to see that demolition. Did you have any apprehensions about, because when I was there, and I from close quarters, I've seen the Twin Towers come down, the real Twin Towers, talking about the New York ones. And it was a very, very scary moment in a way for many people. For me, when I saw that happen in real life, just a few kilometers away, for me, I did have some apprehensions. Did you have any apprehensions that there might be debris flying around or might even kind of crash land into the Emerald Court where you stay?
So basically, we were at a spot which was approximately 400 meters from the actual site of demolition. And we have been interacting with CBRI officials and at some point of time you have to trust science, you have to trust engineering, and you have to trust our own engineers and our own scientists. So a lot of meticulous planning and analysis and research has gone into this before this was executed. So at any point of time we were not concerned that the building may fall left or right or at some place where it was not intended. The only concerns were little bit about the pollution because the microdust particles will remain suspended in the air for maybe few days, and that can be like really harmful for the health of senior citizens, for kids.
Good news is pouring in that now there is a green signal from Emerald Court. Slowly you can shift in the society.
All right, this is breaking news right now that now the residents can come back to society.
But we will not leave them now. Let the clearance come officially. It has come from a proper channel. Wait.
Slowly now they want to go back home. You can tell that. Do you want to go back home right now? Right. Okay, so basically, before you go.
You are getting this on your channel.
Yeah. So this is the breaking news coming in. Now the residents can go back. All these residents, you see.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
They want to go back right now. All the residents, Emerald Court. Can you just say bye? Can you say maybe bye to Supertech? That's supposed to be bye Supertech Twin Towers. Let's say it together. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Bye Supertech Twin Towers and hello to the bye to corruption. So this is the thing they have. I will not stop you because I know you want to go back home very soon.
We will leave them one by one because they have been asked to come slowly.
All right, they will slowly come back. In the meantime, I just want the viewers to have a look at this report. Now, what happened today? This is the entire report. The entire Twin Towers came down in 9 seconds and it was a long legal battle. As you can see, the residents are very happy. It is no to corruption, yes to justice, and yes to the rights of home buyers. Here's the full report on that.
Thank you.
The Supertech Twin Towers in Noida came crashing down in just about 9 seconds and have left behind a whopping 55,000 tons of debris. 22 smoke guns were installed in various locations around the Twin Towers demolition site. People of Emerald Court have been fighting to bring down this building for a long time. And this comes as a lesson to all those builders who no longer can take home buyers for a ride. Justice has finally prevailed. This demolition will lead to a loss of about 1,000 crore rupees to the developer Supertech.
पुलिसकर्मी लगभग 550 के आसपास डिप्लॉय किए गए हैं और रिजर्व फोर्स 100 से अधिक है और 4 QRTs है। एक और एक्स्ट्रा हम लोग NDRF का टीम 2 जगह हम लोग डिप्लॉय कर रखे हैं।
About 5,000 residents from nearby societies were evacuated. The residents were allowed to return only after 4 p.m. after safety clearances from officials. The buildings in the vicinity were covered with geotextile fabric cover to avoid any damage due to the debris. NDRF teams and the task force were closely monitoring the situation.
टोटल कितने लोगों की सर टीम थी?
400 जन।
400 लोगों की टीम थी। तो देखिए 400 लोगों की टीम थी, तो सर आज जो है आप लोग यहाँ पे मुआयना करने के लिए आए हैं?
जी बिल्कुल, वही लास्ट मोमेंट चेक कर रहे हैं खाली। हमारे सेफ्टी इंचार्ज साथ में है, तो बस एक लास्ट मोमेंट चेक कर रहे हैं कि सब कुछ सेफ है, बराबर है, जो प्लान किया ऐसे हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है।
100 water tankers were deployed in various locations to be used in post-demolition cleaning activities. Medical and admin teams were on standby and the air quality index was monitored around the clock.
हम लोगों ने 50 बेड सुरक्षित किए हैं, जिसमें आईसीयू के बेड हैं, इमरजेंसी के बेड हैं, डे केयर है, ट्रायज एरिया है या आईसीयू है, वार्ड्स हैं। इसके अलावा हमारे जो ऑपरेशन थिएटर्स हैं, अगर कोई सर्जिकल इमरजेंसी होती है, किसी को चोट लगती है कि फ्रैक्चर होता है, उसके लिए वहाँ पे एनेस्थेटिस्ट है। तो इस तरह से हमने तैयारी की है कि अगर एम्बुलेंसेज की पूरी फ्लीट रखी है, 8 से 10 एम्बुलेंसेज इसी एरिया में रहेंगी।
Sanitation workers were also ready to start inspecting as soon as the demolition was complete. There were 2 sirens that went off at 2:15 p.m. and 2:27 p.m. right before the demolition. The Twin Tower was demolished as per plan. And just like that, the Tower of Deceit turned into dust, rubble and debris. 3,700 kilograms of explosives brought down the Noida Supertech Twin Towers after years of long legal battle over violation of construction laws. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
मेरा पैच है, पैच। We continue to be live and breaking right now, and we will of course leave you with these visuals before we go. The residents here, they're chatting and they're very happy because they'll be going back home finally. You can see the smile on their face, and I'm also feeling extremely happy because seeing such genuine smiles on a day like this, it really tells a lot about the legal system of our country, that the Supreme Court never backed down, even though they wanted that Supertech wanted that the Supreme Court reversed its order, but the Supreme Court never backed down. It did extend the date of demolition, but it finally happened. We leave you with these shots of sweets being distributed and of Noida residents celebrating this moment. It's a big fight against corruption, and it is also a big deal for India as well, because it has performed a demolition of this size very, very easily. Take a look. Much more coming up on the other side after that.
Here are the other international stories we're tracking at this hour. African heads of state, representatives of international organizations and private business leaders gathered in Tunisia for the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, a trillion event launched by Japan to promote growth and security in Africa. The summits have generated 26 development projects in 20 African countries. The discussion around an increase of Japanese investments in Africa is anticipated, with particular focus on supporting startups and food security initiatives. Members of the Municipal Council in Tripoli have called for calm after deadly clashes broke out in Libya's capital between militias backed by its two rival administrations, portending a return to violence amid a long political statement. At least 13 civilians were killed and over 95 wounded, added that 64 families were evacuated from areas around the fighting. The leaders of France and Algeria took an important step on Saturday towards mending relations scarred by disputes over migration and the legacy of colonial crimes, agreeing to cooperate on energy, security and reassessing their joint history. French President Emmanuel Macron wrapped up a 3-day visit to Algeria.
Today, what you're witnessing is corruption has come down. As of now, it seems everything is under control. No reports of any untoward incident taking place. Most of these residents, they were asked to evacuate by 7 o'clock this morning. They'll have to perhaps return in the next 24 hours only after a safety certificate is basically issued. Hopefully, things are going to be for the better for those who've been suffering for years.
All right, let's have a look at all the top national updates at this point of time. The Noida Twin Towers turned into rubble in 9 seconds after years of corruption and long legal battle on the violation of construction laws. 3,700 kilograms of explosive brought down the Twin Towers. The wind direction around the Supertech Twin Towers had changed toward east ahead of their demolition, which will make dust particles drift towards Greater Noida and Bulandshahr instead of Delhi. As per the officials, the wind direction in the west would have been favorable as it had been taken the dust to open park instead of the residential parks behind the Twin Towers. A total of 7 to 8 ambulances are on standby with 50 beds at the Felix Hospital. However, the health experts have advised the people in surrounding areas to stay indoors with doors and windows shut. They are also being advised to wear face masks while stepping out. It's fine. The UP government installed 6 dust machines to keep the pollution levels in check, keeping in mind the aftermath of the demolition of Noida Twin Towers. Speaking to Republic, the police informed that the demolition went as per the plans, but they will continue to monitor the situation. Following the exit of the senior leader Ghulam Nabi Azad and 7 others from Congress, a resignation trend is likely to continue in the party's Jammu and Kashmir unit as the veteran politician Ghulam Nabi Azad plans to float his own party to contest the forthcoming election in the union territory. Mass resignations are expected by the Congress workers today. Another party leader, M.A. Khan, quit the Grand Old Party in Telangana. Former Rajya Sabha MP Khan resigned from the Congress just a day after Ghulam Nabi Azad's exit came as a huge blow. In his letter to the senior Congress leadership, he said that the party had been going downhill since Rahul Gandhi took over as a vice president. In Bihar, a war of words has erupted between former alliance member BJP and JDU. Former Deputy CM and BJP leader Sushil Kumar Modi attacked JDU President Lalan Singh and accused him of providing documents of the CBI, which ultimately led to conviction of RJD Supremo Lalu Prasad Yadav in multiple scams. Sushil Modi remarked that the same JDU had changed within a span of 3 months and was now praising Lalu Yadav. The latest update in the Sonali Fogart death case, accused Edwin Rama Mandrekar and Datta Prasad, who were produced before a Goa court, have now been sent to police custody for 5 days.
It's going to be a blast 10 years from now. The residents are right now celebrating the demolition of Twin Towers, and right behind me the colorful pictures are coming in where they are not only dancing but also playing Holi.
एक डिमोलिशन हुआ है इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन का, 10 साल के करप्ट प्रैक्टिस 10 सेकंड में गिर गया।
भ्रष्टाचार के रावण और कुंभकर्ण का दहन तो होना ही था।
got erupted in the PVC waste area in the national capital.
जब तक मनीष सिसोदिया की गिरफ्तारी नहीं हो जाती है तब तक ये विरोध प्रदर्शन जारी रहेगा.
Court has granted both the accused to the police custody over the death of Sonali Fogart.
This is the question which Aam Aadmi Party is asking from BJP.
Time to take a look as to what is happening in the world of sports. Cricket rivals India and Pakistan are set to clash in the Asia Cup, which is being held in Dubai. Both the teams shall look to display their best game on the field. In their previous clash in the T20 World Cup 2021, Pakistan beat India by 10 wickets. There are 15 current or former Grand Slam champions in the women's draw at the US Open, including two-time winner Naomi Osaka. Osaka talked about Serena Williams retiring from tennis, claiming that the American legend is the biggest thing that will ever be in the sport. England captain Ben Stokes praised his side for producing a benchmark performance that swept South Africa aside inside 3 days at Emirates Old Trafford. Stokes started his winning reign. England got themselves back to winning ways in Manchester, knocking over the tourists for 151 and 179 to triumph by an innings and 80.
Today, what you're witnessing is corruption has come down. As of now, it seems everything is under control. No reports of any untoward incident taking place. Most of these residents, they were asked to evacuate by 7 o'clock this morning. They'll have to perhaps return in the next 24 hours only after a safety certificate is basically issued. Hopefully, things are going to be for the better for those who've been suffering for years.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's dive right into the biggest stories and updates at this hour on Superfast 50. After a decade-long saga, the Supertech Twin Towers in Noida have been demolished, all in a total of about 9 seconds. After years of corruption and a long and winding legal battle on the violation of construction laws, 3,700 kilos of explosives brought down the Twin Towers in a nearly instantaneous spectacle. The wind direction around the Supertech Twin Towers is something the authorities had been keeping an eye on, and a sudden change at a key time has likely made the dust particles from the demolition site drift eastwards towards Greater Noida and Bulandshahr instead of towards Delhi. As per officials, wind direction in the west would have been a more favorable outcome, as it would have taken the dust to an open park instead of the residential parks behind the towers. A total of 7 to 8 ambulances were on standby along with 50 beds at the Felix Hospital. However, while the demolition seems to have gone off as per plan, the health experts have advised the people in the surrounding areas to stay indoors with their doors and windows shut and to wear face masks while stepping out.
एम्बुलेंसेस की पूरी फ्लीट रखी है, 8 से 10 एम्बुलेंसेस इसी एरिया में रहेंगी. वहाँ पे डॉक्टर्स रहेंगे, ड्राइवर्स रहेंगे, पैरामेडिकल स्टाफ रहेगा, ईएमटी रहेंगे, नर्सिंग स्टाफ रहेगा. वो ऑलरेडी बीएलएस और एलएस ट्रेंड स्टाफ है. अगर कुछ भी जरूरत पड़ती है तो हम तुरंत पेशेंट्स को वहाँ से शिफ्ट करके हॉस्पिटल में सुरक्षित जोन में लेके आएंगे और उसका इलाज करेंगे. हम लोगों ने 50 बेड सुरक्षित किए हैं, जिसमें आईसीयू के बेड हैं, इमरजेंसी के बेड हैं, डे केयर है, ट्रायज एरिया है या आईसीयू है, वार्ड्स हैं. इसके अलावा हमारे जो ऑपरेशन थिएटर्स हैं, अगर कोई सर्जिकल इमरजेंसी होती है, किसी को चोट लगती है कि फ्रैक्चर होता है, उसके लिए वहाँ पे एनेस्थेटिस्ट हैं, वहाँ पे सर्जन्स हैं, ऑर्थोपेडिक सर्जन्स हैं, न्यूरो सर्जन्स हैं, वो लोग हाई अलर्ट पे रहेंगे.
The Uttar Pradesh government deployed 6 anti-dust machines to keep the pollution and particulate levels in check, keeping in mind the dusty aftermath of the demolition of the Noida Twin Towers.
हाँ जी, गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से व्यवस्था की गई है. पॉल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड की तरफ से ही ये व्यवस्था है. उसी की साइड से ये मशीन लगी हुई है. उन्होंने हमें यहाँ हायर करके रखा हुआ है, मशीन हमारी लगी.
After the demolition, the Noida Authority CEO informed that the pre and post air quality index or AQI data for the demolition site are almost the same, which is a favorable sign. Following the demolition and once the water cannons were used to help settle the dust, the fire tenders and NDRF have begun the process of cleaning up the debris, with earth-moving machines being brought in for what promises to be a long and arduous task. As the 100-meter tall Supertech twin towers were razed to the ground, the doctors have advised people living nearby, especially those who suffer from respiratory issues, that they take extra care and avoid the area for the next few days. Residents of nearby housing societies were ecstatic after the Supertech twin towers were demolished. Many distributed sweets and broke into impromptu celebrations as well.
It's a big victory day for, it's a win for good things over the evil. So it's win-win for all the, for the country, for the residents, for the citizens, for the Nyayapalika, for all our, agencies. So it's a big victory day for everyone.
Speaking to Republic, the Noida police informed that the demolition prima facie went as per plan, but they will continue to monitor the situation.
लार्जली जो पूरी एक्सरसाइज है एज पर प्लान्स थी और उसका एग्जीक्यूशन बिल्कुल एज पर प्लान हुआ है। बाकी अभी एक्सपर्ट टीम्स जो है वो मौके पे हैं, वो असेसमेंट कर रहे हैं। हम लोग भी अब उधर ही जा रहे हैं। उनका असेसमेंट के बाद जो है आपको फिर अपडेट देंगे। क्या डेब्रिस?
Supertech chairman R.K. Arora informed that the firm has incurred a loss of about 500 crore rupees, including construction and interest costs, because of the demolition of its twin towers in Noida's Sector 93A. In the latest updates following the Noida Twin Towers demolition, around 10 meters of a boundary wall of a nearby society, that is ATS, has been damaged after being hit by the debris.
आसपास की सोसाइटीज़ में कोई डैमेज ब्रॉडली नहीं है, लेकिन जैसा मैंने बताया अभी जस्ट ब्लास्ट होके हटा है। एक घंटे के अंदर स्थिति बेहतर पता लगेगी।
Speaking to Republic, Chetan Datta, the edifice official who hit the button to demolish the twin towers, said that everything was executed safely.
10 सेकंड में बिल्डिंग पूरी क्रैश कर गई।
अच्छा 9 सेकंड में, मतलब अब लग रहा है कि जो सोचा था वो कर पाए।
बिल्कुल जो हमारी प्रेडिक्शन थी 100% सक्सेसफुल हुई है सर। बिल्कुल पूरी टीम हो जाएगी बात रहा। और जब ब्लास्ट होने के बाद हम पांचों अंदर गए और हम लोगों ने बिल्डिंग।
Talking to the media, Utkarsh Mehta, an engineer at the edifice company, emphasized that they have been telling people for a long time that it would be a safe demolition.
रादर वर्ल्ड का टॉप 5 में डिमोलिशंस में आएगा और जो हिसाब से हुआ है इट इज़ द बेस्ट डिमोलिशन विच इवन आई हैव एवर सीन। जो एनविसेज किया था, जैसे सोचा था, परफेक्टली ऐसे आया नीचे। सो हमें कोई भी इसमें दिक्कत नहीं है।
Uttar Pradesh Additional Chief Secretary Avnish Avasthi said that the authorities simply followed the order by the court. He added that everything would go back to normal very soon.
डिमोलिशन जो है एक मील का पत्थर होगा, ये दिखाने के लिए कि अल्टीमेटली लॉ विल कैच अप विद एनी इलीगल डिसीजन व्हिच हैज बीन डन इन द पास्ट। और चाहे जितना बड़ा आदमी हो, पब्लिक डोमेन में जीरो टॉलरेंस टू ऑल सच इलीगल एक्टिविटी, ये बहुत जरूरी था।
Opposing the demolition, an environmentalist, Vimlendu, said that it puts the public health and the quality of air at risk. The dust clouds would be in the air for the next few days, he opined.
The demolition of twin towers in Noida will definitely have a negative impact on the environment and also on public health. We're talking about a massive structure that is planning to be demolished. We're talking about more than 3,700 kilograms of explosive. So, dust is a very, very important aspect of pollution. We're talking about demolition dust, which of course will have an immediate impact and will also stay around for a couple of days after the demolition.
Addressing the environmental concerns regarding the demolition, AQI specialist Manish Kumar informed that they have been monitoring the air quality index. While the report will be generated after 24 hours, things largely seem to be under control, he said.
इसमें सर हम जब बिल्डिंग ढहने से पहले का लेंगे और अब का लेंगे और इसके बाद का भी लेंगे। 24 आवर्स में एक रिपोर्ट आती है। इसमें PM10 और 2.5 मेजर हम कर रहे हैं। कल सुबह 6 बजे इसका हो जाएगा फिल्टर पेपर, उसके बाद लैब में टेस्टिंग होगा, उसके बाद रिजल्ट का पता लगेगा।
Speaking to the media, Kulish Anand, Deputy Commandant of the NDRF, informed that teams have been deployed around the area to ensure the safe execution of the plans and the aftermath as well.
हमारे को एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने रिक्वेस्ट किया था टीम स्टैंड बाय करने के लिए, तो जो उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से हमने टीम्स यहाँ लगा रखी हैं। रेस्ट जितनी भी डिटेल है वो प्रशासन देख रहा है, उसको तो आपको वहाँ से मिल जाएंगी। एनडीआरएफ का जितना काम था वो पूरा होने का हमारे अभी तक कोई रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है।
Talking to the media, UBS TOTR Residents Welfare Association president of the neighboring Emerald Court and a petitioner in the Twin Towers case said that after a very long battle against the illegal buildings, justice has been served.
बहुत खुशी होती है। आपको पता है कि 10 साल की लड़ाई लड़ने के बाद में अगर जीत मिलती है तो उसका कितना आनंद आता है वो हर आदमी जानता है। उसी तरीके से हमें भी बहुत खुशी है कि आज जो जिसके लिए लड़ाई लड़ी थी वो आखिर समय उसका आ गया है और 2:30 बजे ये 9 सेकंड के अंदर ध्वस्त हो जाएंगी।
Hitting out at previous Uttar Pradesh government's Deputy Chief Minister of UP Keshav Prasad Maurya said that Akhilesh Yadav must provide an answer to the public regarding illegal constructions and buildings.
हमारी सरकार के समय शुरू हुई और उसके बाद उसके ध्वस्तीकरण के आदेश माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के आदेश के क्रम में हुआ है। और यह इमारत समाजवादी पार्टी के सरकार के समय अगर गैर कानूनी ढंग से बनाई गई तो सरकार निश्चित तौर से ऐसे लोगों का संरक्षण करती थी, ऐसे अधिकारियों का संरक्षण करती थी कि इस प्रकार के अवैध काम हो। अब अवैध इस देश में कुछ नहीं चलेगा। यह संदेश है इस ट्विन टावर के ध्वस्तीकरण की कार्रवाई।
Speaking to the media, advocate Aishwarya Sinha said that the demolition is a strong message to the builders, and with regards to relief for those who unknowingly and unfairly lost money in the matter, said that the Supreme Court is monitoring a refund mechanism as well.
To date, no such orders like this has been passed. So it is a long fight between the buyers and the builder mafia and the authority which allowed such a building to operate and allowed it to be built for about 60 floors each. So finally this order is taking shape and we expect the demolition to happen today. It is a big victory for buyers.
Newly appointed Uttar Pradesh BJP chief Bhupendra Chaudhary also opined that Akhilesh Yadav must answer as to why a breach of norms was allowed in the construction of the now demolished Supertech Twin Towers.
और जिस प्रकार से लोगों ने अनैतिक रूप से संपत्ति अर्जित की हैं, इस तरह के अवैध निर्माण कराए हैं, उसके लिए एक संदेश है ये कि सरकार सबके खिलाफ विधि सम्मत कार्रवाई करेगी। माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आदेश पर यह कार्रवाई हुई है, तो एक अच्छा संदेश है। और मैं निश्चित रूप से कह सकता हूं कि भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ एक कठोर कार्रवाई है और हमें इससे सबक लेना चाहिए।
Speaking to Republic TV, a resident of the neighboring Emerald Society said that their family had bought a flat in the Supertech Twin Towers. He urged the authorities to free them from the debt and the losses that they had incurred.
इसके अलावा कुछ और नहीं। जो चीज़ मिट्टी में मिली हुई है हम उसके लिए डिफॉल्टर हैं। पैसा मत दीजिए, कम से कम डिफॉल्टर तो मत बनाइए। हमें आज़ाद तो कर दीजिए उस टैक्स से जो हमारे पैन कार्ड पे और हमारे अकाउंट्स पे लगे हुए हैं।
Uttar Pradesh Deputy Chief Minister Brajesh Pathak said that the demolition represented the fact that there would be no compromise in addressing corruption in the state.
देश में तय हो गया है कि करप्शन और
अपराध पर हम कोई कंप्रोमाइज़ नहीं करेंगे। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने पहले ही तय कर दिया था कि इसमें हम कोई कंप्रोमाइज़ नहीं करेंगे। ये करप्शन के टावर हैं, इनको हम गिराएंगे, ध्वस्त करेंगे, माननीय न्यायालय के निर्णय का सम्मान करेंगे। आज ये तय हो गया कि उत्तर प्रदेश में अपराध और भ्रष्टाचार पर कोई कंप्रोमाइज़ नहीं। हमारी सरकार लगातार दोनों मुद्दों पर अपना स्टैंड स्पष्ट कर चुकी है। किसी भी स्थिति में हम कोई कंप्रोमाइज़ नहीं करेंगे। समाजवादी पार्टी ने जिस ढंग से भ्रष्टाचार करके इन इमारतों को खड़ा किया गया था, उनको हमने जमींदोज कर दिया है।
In a press conference, Edifice, the company that was part responsible for the demolition, informed that glasses of a few neighboring buildings were broken. However, safety measures had been taken and the forces and the agencies are still monitoring the situation. In another blow to the Congress party, another leader of the party, M.A. Khan, has quit it in Telangana. The former Rajya Sabha member of parliament resigned from the Congress right on the back of Ghulam Nabi Azad's exit, and in a letter to the senior Congress leadership, he said that the party has been going downhill since Rahul Gandhi took over as the vice president. Following the exit of senior leader Ghulam Nabi Azad and 7 others from the Congress, the resignation trend is likely to continue in the party's Jammu and Kashmir unit, as Azad plans to float his own party to contest the forthcoming elections in the Union Territory. Mass resignations are expected from Congress. Former Congress leader G.M. Saruri said that Ghulam Nabi Azad will float a national level party and that in the current scenario, he could even become the next chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir. According to G.M. Saruri, Ghulam Nabi Azad will organize a public meeting in Jammu and Kashmir on September the 4th and has the support of all ex-legislators.
जिस तरह लोगों का रुझान है कि हम आइंदा डट के लड़ेंगे, पूरी रियासत में लड़ेंगे, सेकुलर माइंडेड लोगों के साथ जुड़ेंगे और पार्टियों के साथ जुड़ेंगे, और आज़ाद साहब जो है फोकस देगा ज़्यादा जम्मू कश्मीर को, क्योंकि यहाँ इलेक्शन होने जा रहा है और उनकी होम स्टेट है। लिहाजा ऑल इंडिया नेशनल लेवल पे जो पार्टी बनाने जा रहे हैं, उससे पहले जम्मू कश्मीर में वो यूनिट बनाएंगे और जम्मू कश्मीर को फोकस करेंगे। 4 तारीख को उनकी मीटिंग जम्मू में है, उसके बाद चनाब वैली और कश्मीर में वो मीटिंग करेंगे। इंशाल्लाह ताला आप खुद देखेंगे कि बहुत सारे लीडर जो बाकी पार्टियों से भी टूट के आ रहे हैं या अपने जितने भी थे वो सब ज्वाइन करने जा रहे हैं।
G.M. Saruri, the former Congress leader, who also said that the municipal corporation members, ward members, block members, district presidents of Jammu and Kashmir are also resigning from the grand old party, the Congress. He added that the Congress High Command has shown no seriousness since 2017.
वो हाई कमांड थी कांग्रेस की, तो उनमें ये देखा गया कि 2017 से लेके आज तक उन्हें कोई सीरियसनेस नहीं थी। लिहाजा उसके अलावा उनके पास आसपास कुछ ऐसे चापलूसों की जमात थी जो गलत पे गलत फैसले करने। आपको मालूम है कि अगर रियासत जम्मू कश्मीर में पीसीसी का चीफ चुनना था या रियासत जम्मू कश्मीर में अगर आज़ाद साहब को कैंपेन कमेटी का चीफ बनाया गया, मगर उसके लिए जो लिस्टें तैयार की गई उनको पूछा नहीं गया, ना उनको दिखाई गई।
Taking a swipe at Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, Union Minister Smriti Irani has said that Ghulam Nabi Azad has become free only now, but Amethi has been liberated a long time back. The Congress party is set to hold elections for the party president's post on October the 17th, while nominations may be submitted from September the 24th. Sources in the know have also informed that the counting is likely to be held on October the 19th. In a fresh update in the Sonali Phogat case, the accused Edwin, Rama Mandrekar and Datta Prasad, who were produced before a Goa court, have now been sent to police custody for 5 days. On the second day of his 2-day visit to Gujarat, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Smriti Van Memorial and Museum built on the outskirts of Bhuj in Gujarat. The memorial celebrates the resilience shown by the people during and after the devastating 2001 earthquake in Kutch. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the ceremony commemorating 40 years of the Maruti Suzuki partnership in India. Remembering Japan's late former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, PM Modi said that the partnership also signifies deepening friendship between India and Japan. In Bihar, the war of words has escalated between former alliance members, the BJP and the JDU. Former Deputy Chief Minister and BJP leader Sushil Kumar Modi attacked JDU President Lalan Singh and accused him of providing documents to the CBI, which ultimately led to the conviction of RJD Supremo Lalu Prasad Yadav in multiple scam cases. Sushil Modi remarked that the same JDU had changed within a span of 3 months and was now praising Lalu Yadav. A Twitter war of words has also continued between Delhi's Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Assam's Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma. While Arvind Kejriwal offered to fix the schools in Assam, the latter said that such a desire should not be put across by the Delhi CM when the state is facing natural calamities. Hinting at a green signal for a CBI probe in the Sonali Phogat murder case, Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant said that if required, the ongoing investigation into the death of the BJP leader from Haryana will be handed over to the Central Bureau of Investigation. Presently, the Goa police is probing the matter and has made key arrests in the last few days after a late start. Within the ambit of political campaigns ahead of the polls in Gujarat, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that there were conspiracies to hinder investment in the state, but that the state had chosen a new path towards progress. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh boosted the movement towards Atmanirbharta as he approved a fresh list of 780 components and subsystems which will only be procured from the domestic defence industry after a ban on their imports kicks in under a staggered time frame of about 6 years. Maldivian Foreign Minister and President of the UN General Assembly Abdullah Shahid arrived in New Delhi with meetings scheduled with the Vice President of India Jagdeep Dhankar as well as Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra, among others. The Prime Minister has urged the people to participate in the government's efforts to eradicate malnutrition from the country as part of the Poshan Maah celebrated in the country every year. Addressing the 92nd episode of his monthly Man Ki Baat, Prime Minister Modi said that there has been a sense of realization among people to shed colonial mindset and regarding the pride in the tricolour after his Independence Day speech, adding that the people have become a vanguard of the pride in the Tiranga. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has approved the third positive indigenization list of 780 strategically important line replacement units, subsystems or components to minimize imports by defence PSUs and to achieve self-reliance in defence. As the suspense over the fate of Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren continues to raise political temperatures in the state, the opposition BJP lashed out at him over what they said was his picnic on a boat with MLAs at Latatru Dam in Khunti district. Amid the ongoing war against drugs launched on the directions of Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann, the Punjab police recovered 38 kilos of heroin concealed in a toolbox of a truck coming from Gujarat. The police has so far arrested 2 people in the case and further investigations are underway. 4 cases of swine flu from Bokaro, Ranchi and Girid districts have been detected in Jharkhand. The health department is on high alert and all safety measures are being put in place. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh unveiled a statue of late Kalyan Singh in a tribute to the former Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister. Rajnath Singh is on a 3-day visit to the state and is scheduled to inaugurate a plethora of development projects as well. With polls in Tripura slated for next year, BJP National President JP Nadda has embarked on a 2-day visit to the state. Nadda will hold several meetings during his visit and is also scheduled to address a public gathering in Kwamlung. In an unfortunate incident, 24 people riding on a tractor trolley fell into the Gara River after the driver lost control of the vehicle. Officials have informed that while 7 lives were lost in the incident, 14 people have so far been rescued. Additionally, compensation of 5 lakh rupees has been announced for the families of the deceased. In Maharashtra, the Gadchiroli police have arrested 3 infamous Maoists. A total of 14 murder cases and 20 cases of encounters with security agencies are registered against them. The Sri Lankan Navy has arrested 6 Indian fishermen from waters off Tamil Nadu and has also seized their trawlers for allegedly poaching in the island nation's territorial waters. All 6 fishermen were arrested while they were fishing in the Park Strait.
Following the 8-wicket victory against Sri Lanka in the first match of the Asia Cup 2022, Afghanistan skipper Mohammad Nabi praised the opener and said that the opening duo of Hazrat Ullah Zazai and Rahman Ullah Gurbaz, whose crucial knocks gave the team a good start. Mohammad Nabi led Afghanistan, outplayed Sri Lanka in all 3 departments of the game to register an 8-wicket victory in the opening game of Asia Cup 2022. Here are the other international stories we're tracking at this hour. African heads of state, representatives of international organizations and private business leaders gathered in Tunisia for the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, a Trinilian event launched by Japan.